From Delmarva neighborhoods, residents are frustrated and say drainage is to blame.
Well, we are left behind. There's no question about it.
Where the biggest troubles are and in Oak Orchard, and why some neighbors say they feel like they're not a priority. Good evening. I'm Paul Butler.
And I'm Steve Hammond. Welcome to WBOC News at 6. That is where we begin tonight at 6. The nor'easter sure creating a stir this weekend. One of the areas hardest hit was Oak Orchard.
And now the latest flooding is renewing calls for something to be done about their drainage system. Now, our Sussex County Bureau Chief Evan Kosloff joins us now live in Chopper 16 above Oak Orchard. And Evan, it's all due to location.
Good evening, Steve and Paul. You know, Oak Orchard is located right off of the Indian River Bay. Let's take a look down below from Chopper 16 at one of those areas of flooding. As you can see, River Road has the bay on one side and a wetland on the other. Without the proper drainage, this could be a nightmare for neighbors.
We're at the home of James Candler in Oak Orchard. He's starting the cleanup process after the nor'easter this weekend. He lives here on River Road by the intersection of Surprise Lane, where drainage problems have caused this water to sit. He says he has asked the state to do something about it for years.
Very frustrating and worrisome. I raised my house up. Everybody else down here raised their house up. And there's not much more we can do.
And he's not alone. Just a few blocks away by the intersection of Leighton Davis Road is this flooded area, even worse than the last. Neighbor Ron Sam says it can sometimes trap folks inside their homes.
There's 2 or 3 days here when Chief Road goes in under and this goes in under. There's some of us that live here full time. We're on an island.
Now sometimes with these wide shots it's hard to see just how deep the water is. So I wanted to show you right now. I'm standing right in the thick of it. As you can see, it's maybe half a foot to a foot tall, and this water is days after the storm has already passed. And the state is aware of these trouble areas. This year, the State House allocated $350,000 to do final engineering on the top 5 trouble areas of Oak Orchard. Numbers 1 and 2 are, you guessed it, the flooded areas we just showed you. Enter Brooks Cahall from the state's drainage program. He says the problems will likely arise when it comes to construction. That's because both projects are expensive, costing over $825,000 apiece.
Funding plays a big role in it. You know, these projects are not going to be, they're not inexpensive projects. They're not quick fixes, and we don't have the funding in hand at this time.
But back in Oak Orchard, neighbor Vernon Ellingsworth says that the most recent storm should be a reminder of why action is needed and why it's needed now.
They're going to have to do it at some point in time. You know, say this weekend we would have got that hurricane right after we had 3 or 4 days of northeast wind and high tides and rain. You know, it could have been, a lot of people could have been in jeopardy.
Neighbors calling for an end to sites like this in Oak Orchard.
And back up here in Chopper 16, we want to provide some numbers in order to emphasize how expensive these projects are compared with the budget. As I mentioned, each project costs about $825,000. The total amount of money allocated to the drainage program as a whole across the state was only $3 million. By the way, there will be a meeting later this month in town between the public and the state to talk about these issues of drainage. For now, reporting in Chopper 16 over Sussex County, this is Evan Kosloff, WBOC News. Back to you.
All right, Evan, thank you. Now, the 2 trouble spots on River Road Evan talked about are the 2 top items on DNRIT's list of areas in Oak Orchard that they need work. The third priority is repairs at the intersection of Mercer Avenue and Forest Drive. Now, number 4 is the intersection of West Center and West James Center. And rounding out the list is Oak Meadow Drive. Now, all 3 of those projects were not coastal repairs in Oak Orchard.